I believe we have an inordinate amount of Asians. I don't like Asians to stand behind me, but I've lived in India and China too long. Tonight is the beginning of the rest of your life, guys and gals. I normally forget to say gals, but I'm trying to get politically correct at age almost 74, because I don't look at you as gals. You're just meat to me. But so every once in a while I throw in gals just to, so when the Martians come down in 1,000 years, well, God, look at that guy who was trying to be PC. And I don't really give a fuck, really. Based on my first interviews, we have some sensitive people here. And sensitivity equals fucking poverty. So for those of you that are truly sensitive, and there's no refunds. Sensitivity equals poverty. And even for those of you that English is not your primary language, it's one of the first words you learn, unfortunately, to be sensitive, and that's why you're all fucked up. But we'll talk more about that. I'm not going to go out of my way to insult ethnicities, but I will. I'm not going to go out of my way to insult religions, but I will. And I leave no stone unturned. I mean, the Muslims, the fucking Buddhists, you name it, Christians, Jews, I slag them all. And the reason I slag them all, and the reason I'm so hard after 25 and almost half years, because it fucking works. I am the Spartacus, the Mao Zedong of financial success coaching. Nobody else has created millions, tens of millions, billions, tens of billions, hundreds of fucking billions, other than the 6'1", 225-pound twisted steel and pantherpist. Sergeant, mostly pantherpist now, not as much twisted steel when I was your age, but mostly pantherpist. Because it works. Well, two of you asked me to be hard on you, which I found amusing. And one of you asked me for help. Well, if you came to me for help, you fucked up. You made a gross error in judgment. Because I treat you all the same. And as if our lovely daughter were here, Kelly, said, Daddy treats everybody the same, like shit. She also said 20 years ago when she was 12 years old, when she sat through the seminar, she came in and says, Daddy, this is easy peasy. Meaning the format of the seminar, 7 steps. For those of you that have been through 12-step programs or know somebody that's been through a 12-step program, Alcoholics Anonymous, etc., you go into the meeting and you say, hi, my name's Dan and I'm an alcoholic, or I'm a whatever, right? And then 5-6 weeks later, my name's Dan and I've got 5 weeks sobriety. Then you come in 5 months later and you say, hi, my name's Dan and I slipped. And everybody goes and looks down. And they go up to hug the person. This is not that program. You slip and you're fucking out. I can't make it any more clear than that. And as I said, in which our combat vet will attest to, if we were in combat and you make mistakes, we're dead. Not just you're dead, but a bunch of us are dead. And that's not how we operate the QLA model, and haven't for 25 and a half years. We're on a failure's not an option mission. And since my current star, if you will, who happens to be an active duty military, as the young man here, just broke the record for getting 2 deals closed in 117 days, while he's active duty fucking military. While on duty in his free time. So I know what can be done when you press yourself. One of the young men that I talked to earlier said something about to the effect that I didn't realize how innovative, these are my words, he's less articulate. I didn't realize how innovative I could be to come up with the money to come here until I had to. You don't know what you're capable of. I do. For those of you that are parents, I used to use the example with your wife, but your spouse, but I don't use that anymore. And somebody stuck a gun in the mouth of your child. You got 72 hours to do so-and-so, or I'm going to blow the little fuckhead's head off. Guess how innovative you get? If it's your wife, kick the bitch to the curb, you don't give a shit. If it's a husband, the same thing. What gets measured gets accomplished. And other than maybe a few of you, you will have never been in such an accountability system in your life. Now, your physical life doesn't depend on it, but your financial life depends on it vis-a-vis you staying in the program. And when you fill out the weekly reports, 70-some questions, and 52 of them is, by the way, when you don't accomplish a task you're given, you to write, I cunted out. I cunted out. And when you see 50 cunted outs out of 70-some, it's pretty easy to ascertain why you are where you are. It's pretty goddamn easy. And now we have the systems, the procedures, the templates for success. We have webinars beyond your wild imagination. And those all came into being from the summer of 2010 till now, when we made the mentor program accountable in writing. Every night that you're here, you're going to have written homework. Choose to not complete it at your own peril. It's just, you're out. I'm going to say it again real slow. Don't complete the written homework. Because I read all the fucking shit. And you're out. We have hub centers around the state, which you can find out from the staff where they are. And we have, what do we have? Printers, all that stuff. Every night you'll have written homework. Some nights a lot of written homework. And as I was telling you, the 6th, 7th, and 8th day, I will look just like I look now, except I'll have more energy. And you that are still left, that aren't crying, will look sapped of energy, tired. And I'm the one doing all the fucking work. Now, I used to ask the question, why do you think that is? But you're too fucking stupid to answer the right answer, so I'm going to give you the right answer. Because you realize how motherfucking hard it's going to be when you leave the conclave of this estate. I will have more energy a week from now than I have now. And I'm old enough to be everybody's grandfather or father in this room. There's a reason why the system's so successful. There's a reason why we have teenage multimillionaires flying around in jets. There's a reason for all that. A lot of hard fucking work, and they follow the steps. The only thing that resembles the 12-step program is we have a 7-step program. We're 5 less. But if you don't follow them, the odds are that you'll fail. And for somebody like myself, where failure is not an option, I don't take that lightly. And again, I'm not trying to be, now she's a Saint Teresa. We put money on the old bitch when she was just a fucking Mother Teresa. But now she's a fucking saint. When I tell you the stories about Saint Teresa, a ruthless cunt she was. Ruthless. And she used her children as her excuse. And they hurried her up to be a saint. They accelerated her. And that's why the nuns and the priests tell Sally and myself, you're on a rocket ship to heaven, Dan. I'm on a rocket ship to heaven. I'm going to pass Elon on the way to Mars easy. No problem. And I do believe there are stupid questions. It will become instantaneously obvious to me who didn't read all the shit they were supposed to before you got here. Remember that stuff? Read it all? I can look at your faces and tell who didn't read it. And there are groups that this is harder for. If you're a lawyer, an accountant, an engineer, a mathematician, a physicist, scientist, that kind of thing, because you've learned to put facts together sequentially, it's hard for you to go from A to E and skip B, C, and D. Not impossible, but harder, because you've learned to accomplish problems in a certain fact pattern. But once those aforementioned professions get it, they have like a hyper boost, like in Star Trek when they go into warp speed. Unfortunately, it takes them a while to get the hang of it. Are we still missing somebody? Oh, two things. You have name tags on the, we should put them on your fucking heads at the tables where you eat. And you sit there and they change every night. Now, see, I wasn't going to tell you that, but it takes you so long to find your name tag, and there's only 24 seats. At dinner, whether you're eating here or in the pavilion, there's a place for you to sit. There's a place for you to sit. And somebody asked me already if I can introduce them to people to make their life simpler. They used other words when they get back home, and the answer is categorically no. If I find you hounding QLA mentees from previous years, you're out of the program. This is not a networking, butt-fuck, swap bodily fluids program. If I find you networking in the seminar, you're out of the program. I don't even like you taking cabs back together, but you're so fucking poor you can't afford 125 pounds. So 7 or 8 of you got to get in a fucking cab. That's humiliating. Some of you will use the excuse you're just frugal, like the fucking Dutchman here. This is the tall, skinny Dutchman. They are cheap. But this is not a networking event. Some of you have already contacted former mentees. I owe Bruce Whipple in my next life for all the thousands of calls he's fielded from fucking meatheads like you. But he moved a couple years ago. He couldn't take the calls anymore in Connecticut. He moved to the mountains of Maine to be away from you. He never complained one time to me. People show up at his motherfucking doorstep. He comes home and Pat says, "Oh, we've got guests. There are 3 more mentees." How'd you like putting up with that for fucking 25 years? You wouldn't, would you? So now he's hidden away. Like Bourne, the movie, The Bourne Legacy, in a fucking log cabin in the forest. The Verdiers did the same thing. They're hidden away in the forest in someplace in Georgia. Go check. And the dress for the seminar is every day like this. And don't ask me if you can use the gym. The first person to ask, I'm going to slap. The answer is no. You have to earn gym privileges here. In the last 5 seminars, nobody earned them. So what does that tell you? Because when meathead is here 2 minutes late in the morning, you lose your gym privilege. When this fucking fat meathead is 2 minutes late from a break, you lose your gym privilege. This is the first time in your life. It's just the beginning of being accountable. On that happy note.
Ladies and gentlemen, dinner is served.
Thank you. Oh, and you don't sit down until everybody's got their seat. Women can sit down because they're weak and feeble, but men can't. And then you play off the host, for those of you that don't know. You start the Civil War, and I sent you a link on this. You start outside in, instead of like this, the way you eat at home. Thank you.